Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, I'm gonna be honest, this episode was kind of mixed for me. In the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really feeling it too much. Ben and Ciara didn't really do too much of anything like usual. They did get a visit from John and Marlena. Marlena pretty much apologizing, and Ben being like, "You have nothing to apologize for." But Ciara wanted to ask, what did the devil want with their child? And unfortunately, Marlena, she didn't know. You know, she wasn't, she wasn't in control, and the only thing that she remembers is more of just the feelings of anger and everything else, but emotions. But she couldn't actually, latch on to whatever his plan was. So unfortunately, she couldn't really give them the answers that they were looking for. And, she also apologized to Trip, but, Trip was like, it's cool, whatever. At this point, I'm more of a believer now than I was before. So, now towards the end of the episode, Marlena and John are getting ready to watch the countdown. And, Marlena's like, alright, she says something about Carson Daly. And I'm just sitting there thinking, Carson Daly is still a thing? Does he still have a show on at 3 o'clock in the morning? I'm just kind of curious. Anyway, she's watching TV, and the TV starts to get on the fritz. Next thing you know, it's the devil. And I'm just sitting there looking at this whole thing like, alright, so the majority of the fans that have been watching this since Jump, that saw it 25-something years ago, was not happy revisiting this chapter again. Okay, they was not happy. They were thrilled that it was over. So I'm sitting there thinking, you got a fan base that kind of likes it a little bit because they're new to it, and the majority of them is kind of like, no, this isn't working for me. So what does the writers decide to do? Nah, we're just going to sit there and put on some more devil supernatural stuff. And pretty much, here's the thing, I couldn't really understand too much of whatever he was saying. I think he was saying something like, let me back in, or let me in, or whatever. And then it cuts out, and John gets back. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Marlena, remember the first time? Okay, remember the second time that this happened? And you probably should have said something to someone, like John. But you're going to say something now, though, right? I mean, you're going to let them know, just everyone's in danger again, or there's a possibility. You're gonna let them know, right? Right? No? No, we're just going to keep this to ourselves? Okay, that's a cool point. I totally support that. No, let's just bury it. And she says something super cheesy, and then he watched the countdown. And I'm just like, now, again, for me, I'm not minding it. Because it's me watching it. I didn't watch it 25 years ago, obviously. So, watching it now is like, okay, I'm with it, I do think it's kind of dragging on a little bit too much. I mean, it's been going on for a while, and now it's just like, we're still doing this? Like, really? I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I don't mind it. But at the same, I don't mind it like everyone else. They couldn't stand it. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, we've been dealing with this for a couple months now. Like, we still doing this? Johnny is feeling under the weather, and Chanel decides to stay in bed with him. They watch some sort of rom-com or some sort of romance movie. I'm thinking it's Notebook that they were watching. They didn't really say. But then he was saying something like it was a classic, and they were naming some characters that I didn't know. So I have no idea what they were watching, but, they watched it. Allie and Trip come over. Now, Allie was sitting there talking to her dad about pretty much acting like a damn brat. Johnny and Chanel was sitting there pretty much talking about how they both alienated themselves from their families. Even Chanel was like, I could just take off a couple of days from work because I don't want to deal with her. But, Johnny was like, yeah, but here's the thing, though. You have to work with her, though. Y'all can't do this. This isn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all own a business. Y'all can't just sit there and not see each other. You know, he's like, I can not see her, you know, to the end of time, but you, so anyway, after Allie finished talking to her dad, and dad gave her some advice about, you know, like not pushing them away because they can practically be like, all right, you can kick rocks, and you want to losing them both because you're too busy acting like a damn brat. Let's just be honest. And I can say the other word, I really could, but I'm really trying with this woman. Anyway, they come over, they apologize, you know, she apologizes. He's like, it's cool, you know, I'll get myself out of bed, and, you know, we'll all ring in the New Year's together. So, it was a nice moment, and, you know, her apologize, I mean, granted, it took her dad to say something, but she did apologize, so I will give her credit. As I was sitting there watching it, I was like, you know what, I don't like you at all. But I'm going to give you your credit because you realized that you didn't want to lose them, and, you know. So I was like, alright, I'll give you your credit. Which is good. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, they're all downstairs, and Johnny finished, I guess, taking a shower or whatever. He missed the ball drop. So he's in the mirror. He has on this red suit. And I'm like, that's a badass suit. I love that jacket. And granted, here's the thing. I was kind of spoiled because I saw the thumbnail. And part of me was like, alright, y'all joking, right? Y'all gotta be joking with me. Anyway, goes, you know, because the camera angle starts from the bottom and goes all the way up. You see his face, talking to himself, and then you see his eyes, and I'm just like, partly I was just like, are you kidding me? Did y'all just not hear what the fans just said? How the majority of the fans was like, we don't want this anymore. We want it to get back to, you know, we want to get past this whole possession thing. And then they said, yeah, okay, that's cool. So we're going to do more possession storylines. Yeah, we're going to do that. And of course, you know, you said something along the lines of, oh, you thought you took care of me that easy. You thought you got rid of me that easy. And I'm like, well, I didn't think it was easy. I mean, it took the whole family to kind of set aside their differences to be there to cast you back down. And you're just like, oh, that's cool. I'm just going to go right back up. Yeah, I'm just going to possess somebody else. Nah, that's cool. And I just was like, alright. Well, technically at that point, he could have did it at any point in time. What was... okay. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I really don't. Because it can't be good for the ratings. It just can't. And, seeing how it feels like they're trying to push people a lot more towards a streaming service as far as watching their content. I remember the guy who played Sonny was saying something along those lines as far as how much it costs to produce and everything like that. And I mean, you kind of need these ratings. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if they plan on self-sabotaging themselves so this way they could just be on the Peacock network. Because even, you know, Ben and Ciara, when they were watching TV, and he was like, you know, they were sitting there trying to argue what we're going to watch or whatever. And, you know, Ben was like, well, we could just sit there and change it during the commercial breaks. And, you know, Ciara was like, oh, well, there's no commercial breaks on the Peacock network. And I'm like, alright. First time when y'all kind of, you know, put it out there with the whole Peacock and chill thing, I was like, okay, I see what you did. But now, between the Beyond Salem storyline, the Christmas special that you was only able to watch when you paid for premium, which is why I didn't sit there and review it. I was going to review it if it was just on Peacock because it was for free. But now, I'm like, I don't know. I don't really feel like it's a smart move. Now financially wise, it might be in their best interest, maybe, but what's in their best interest is to tell good storylines and get people captured into watching and why we fell in love with watching these shows in the first place, and not just saying, well, we're just gonna go against the grain and be like, yeah, we hurt the fans, and you know they didn't want the possession storyline, so we're gonna sit there and do the possession storyline. That's not the way to go. But you know they clearly know better than us, so okay. Now, Sammy was sitting there crying in the bar with Gabby. I'm going to be honest, I really did not care at all. I mean, it's a nice little bonding experience for both of them. I mean, they don't really seem like the friends type as far as like having friends, so it's nice to sit there and see them be so close, especially given their history and everything like that. Anyway, Sammy's like she's done with EJ and she's moving on, and, you know, Gabby is like, you know, I made a vow to myself that I'm not going to have a man disrespect me and treat me like an equal, this, that, and the third. And yet, Jake changed the plan that practically only benefited himself. So when she said that, I was like, interesting. Especially when Sammy was like, you know, how did Jake treat you? And she was like, oh, he treats me as an equal, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I hope for your sake that that's true. Because, I mean, I don't like you, but I don't want to sit there and see anyone get mistreated, regardless of how I feel about them. So, let's just hope that that's true. Now, Lucas, before he was talking to Allie, he practically was feeling guilty looking at his grandparents' statue about what he'd done. Now, towards the end of the episode, Jake and Gabby did find out that, you know, EJ got outed. I think they found that, yeah. I think they found that out then. But yeah, Sammy, you know, feeling bad or whatever, crying and yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. So she had a good bonding experience with a friend. Awesome stuff. Towards the end, when she leaves, she goes to the bar where Lucas is, and Lucas is about to leave, and they run into each other, and Sammy's like, oh, well, I'm going to sit there, and, you know, I'm not going back to him, and I'm going to choose you. And it's one of those things where it's like, and granted, he's smiling and everything like that, but let's be honest, who wants to be treated as a consolation prize? You know, consolation prize, what is it, nice guys finish last. A lot of those memes are snitty coming in my head when I'm looking at this whole thing. And, you know, Lucas' happiness, you know, while a lot of people be like, oh, you know, it'd be so great to sit there and see them together again. And it's like, alright, that happiness is going to be very fleeting, very fast, and he's going to be counting the minutes, and to his ass is either, well, dumped by Sammy and thrown in jail by Rafe. But they kissed her on New Year's Eve, and she says she chooses him, and he's happy, and they kiss, and, you know, there's a whole montage of kissing that I was like, alright, cool, yeah, that's great. I mean, Lucas has definitely grown on me since, you know, I first saw him. But it's one of those things where it's like, bro, it's hard for me to sit there and support your happiness when I know it's going to be such a fleeting moment. Sammy out of all people, but sure, whatever. Not my first choice. Wouldn't be my second or my fifth or whatever, but bro, you do you. Y'all got history and y'all have kids together, so, you know, no. Forget the fact that they have kids together. They have history, whatever. Now, Jake, I think I did sit there and say they met up with Jake. Oh, so Ben and Sierra decide to stay home. They don't want to go out and do anything. They just want to just kind of just chill. So Jake comes over, and at first he's like, yo, let's go out. Let's just chill. Let's do something. You know, let's not, you know, y'all don't want to be the old married couple that's just boring. But then after, you know, Jake and Sierra fill him in about the whole possession and the devil thing, he's like, you know what? Yeah, y'all deserve this night off. So I totally get it. it is nice to sit there and see the friendship between Jake and Ben, seeing how Ben doesn't really have a lot of friends at all. So it's nice to sit there and see that whole bonding thing going on. So that's cool. So he leaves, and then of course Marlena and John come over to, Marlena comes over to apologize, and, kind of already went through that. And then at the end, they stay in bed, and they kiss during New Year's Eve, and yay, cool. I feel like that's about it. Like I said, it wasn't exactly the best episode, but it wasn't the worst episode either. I mean, I get it. The beginning is always slow for every soap opera, usually, unless they are off on a cliffhanger. Then they start off with just a whole bunch of stuff going on. Like I said, I didn't really care for the Sammy stuff. I mean, she was with a guy who emotionally abused her, and she still was saying that she loved him, that there was a part of her that loved him, and I'm like... Now, I know, and the audience know that EJ didn't do it. So, okay, fine. But she doesn't know that, And I have this guy treat her like dirt for so long, when she literally devoted her life to him. And even after she's sitting there in the bar crying, she's still sitting there talking about, oh, there's a part of me that still loves EJ. I'm like, It's one of those things. It's like, I don't want to sit there and kick her when she's down, but it's hard for me to sit there and look at her and feel sympathetic, because it's like, you're out, you're free. There's literally this guy that's been pining over you since, I went to high school together. And you choose the emotional, abusing jackass, as much as I love EJ, over the guy who literally saved you from bad people, even though he caused it, and has loved you since he probably saw you. So, with that being said, it's really difficult for me to sit there and feel an ounce of sympathy towards her. The only sympathy that I feel towards her is the fact that she got emotionally abused for so long. Anyway, I can sit there and just go on and on and on about that. But, for me, like I said, it definitely was not my favorite part. And also, Sammy is just, not exactly my favorite character either. So you put those together, and that's pretty much my opinion. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I hope everyone has a great New Year's, Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Party it up, be safe, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the next video.